Brian O'Halloran, general manager of the Boston Red Sox, joins us on the Harbor One hotline this morning. Hello, Brian.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're doing great. I told Courtney she could have first question with you because she was upset a couple weeks ago about not getting a. Who was that?
I think it was Sean McDonough. Yeah,
didn't get your question.
I think it was his last one on this.
Right,
But
so,
yeah, no.
Go ahead,
Brian. I'll get the hard one out of the way first. You guys are about to see the Padres, Xander Bogaerts. How difficult is it to see a guy that you guys let walk, who's performing well right now with another team at this point in the season?
Look, Xander's a really good player, and especially those of us that have been here a while, that have a strong relationship with Xander. In some ways, yeah, it's hard to see him in another uniform, but also we're happy for him that he's in a good spot, and that he's playing well, and it'll be fun to compete against him.
Is there, when it comes to players that were here last season and are not this season, is it tempting to play you, Heim, Sam Kennedy, whomever, to kind of play the hindsight is 2020 game and look at, Courtney brought up Xander, but look at somebody like Nathan Eovaldi, who is off to a great start, and wonder if maybe or regret not going to him during the season last year to get something done?
Yeah, I mean, it's we're human beings, so of course we're watching everything. We're always seeing how things play out with players that we either had and didn't end up signing to an extension, or players that we pursued and didn't work out, whether trade or free agency. So we're constantly looking at that, trying to learn from it, but also trying to take a bigger picture view, and both in terms of how contracts play out over time, and also trying to work with the group that you have in the clubhouse to try to win, and focus on helping that group compete and win and improve.
Brian, when you look at your division and how pretty much it probably looks like the best division in baseball as far as all the teams that you have, you always talk about in sports, there's room for error. There's not a lot of room for error. And I know you guys talk about 1 of 162, but how difficult is it to take that approach knowing how good your division is and knowing that your room for error is extremely tight because of the way everybody is playing?
Yeah, it's a good question and a good point. I mean, obviously Tampa has separated themselves at this point, but you have 5 good teams in this division, very, very competitive. Every game matters. Very likely to come down to 1 or 2 games at the end on who's in, who's out, that type of thing. So of course, every game matters. We obviously try to win every game, just like the other teams are doing. When you lose a game, you feel like you should win. That's of course really frustrating. But it also happens, in the other way, where you win a game that maybe the ball just bounced your way. But in the end, it's just about competing and trying to get better and trying to be one of the ones standing at the end.
Brian, it's been sort of reported as fact colloquially, just different reporters have said that the team needs to prove that it's worthy of investment between now and the deadline. Is that an accurate assessment?
Well, I think to a certain degree that's always true. I don't think of it as exactly as proving worthy, but because I think this is a good team. There's a lot of talent on this team. It's shown a lot of fight. We've had obviously some ups and downs, and we're in a battle, as we just talked about. But our hope is always to be fighting to play in October and to have a real chance to do that. So our hope is that when we get towards the deadline, we'll be looking to, if needed, supplement the team, add to the team, improve the team. But it's always, every year, as you get towards that point, you look at where you are in the standings, and that matters. And as far as how your approach is, and so sure, of course, that's always part of it.
So I guess the reason I ask that is, no matter what, this team's going to need to add if they want to take over first place in the toughest division in baseball. So it sort of seems like a chicken and the egg kind of a discussion, whereas, yeah, the team should play better to show that it's worthy of an investment, but no matter what the talent level of this team, it needs to improve for it to be truly a title contender.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're always trying to improve, and there are different ways to do that, including additions from the outside. But I would just say this: I mean, we're a good team. We expect to be in this, and we expect to be, looking to add and improve, and try to get over that hump and be playing in October.
Brian, when it comes to moving Pivetta to the bullpen, it seems like he's handling it well. He said, he's trying not to let his emotions get in the way. How do you guys make sure collectively that if you're moving a guy in this type of situation, that he's still buying into the team and making sure that he gives his best, his all to make sure that you guys are the best you could be?
Yeah, well, number one is having good people, and Nick is an absolute pro. A good person in addition to being a good pitcher, and it's no surprise at all how he's handled this. Of course, he's disappointed in the sense that, like everybody else, like all the other guys, he's been a starting pitcher. He wants to be a starting pitcher. Would prefer to stay in the rotation, but he's also a team guy. So it's part of it is just the person, and part of it is the environment that you create where everybody's pulling for each other. Everybody's, team focused and trying to do what's best for the team. And obviously your manager and coaches have a big part in that. We have the best in Alex Cora cultivating a winning environment, an environment where guys are pulling for each other and putting the team first.
Brian, we've been talking about the Celtics and leadership and certain players. One player I know that called together a meeting was my favorite player on the team is Verdugo. Talk about how his role, it seems like, is now changing into where he looks like he is becoming, especially that vocal leader for this team in the clubhouse. What does that mean for this Red Sox team when you have a guy like him, and how do guys view him in the locker room in that leadership role?
Yeah, it means a lot. Anytime a player, steps up into a leadership role, and it's been really fun to watch Doogie. He came here and he was, had just, played really one season, in the big leagues, a young player, and we've seen him grow, as a player, as a person. It takes, it's not ever just one leader, one player leader, in the clubhouse on a successful team. There are, multiple leaders, multiple guys that step up at different times, and Doogie's, he's got a lot of energy. He cares. He really committed himself this offseason after being challenged a little bit, that he's talked about publicly and Alex has talked about. He really responded well to that. And bottom line, he's playing great on the field, and that also helps when you're looking to pull the team together to talk about something. If you're one of the guys that's really pulling his weight on the field, that means something too, and makes those words matter even more.
All right, Brian, thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, guys, thanks for having me.
Red Sox front office report with Brian O'Halloran.